Hi everyone, this is Ashley Everything again, and I have Simone Edwards with me, a realtor in the Atlanta area, and we're gonna get into her mindset, her discipline, and her overall career and who she is. So Simone, can you introduce yourself?
Hey Ashley, yes. Hi everybody. I am Simone. I'm originally from Jamaica, West Indies. I was born there. I have 8 siblings and grew up in New York with my mom, my dad, and my grandmother. Strong Caribbean background, a strong Caribbean upbringing. I am the youngest of all those 8. So if you can imagine, I had to really fight for attention in my early years growing up, just to get my parents to see what I wanted, where I wanted to be. But they were entrepreneurs. My parents owned a cleaning company for about 35 years, and that kind of molded me and shaped me in knowing that I could have and do what I wanted to do in life. I didn't have to work for somebody, but I had to get to that mindset to say that I could do it. I have a passion for acting. I went to Performing Arts High School. That is one of the infamous schools in New York that put out a lot of great actors and things of that nature. And then I started to get a passion for real estate, I think, when I first bought my first home at 25. And I didn't realize it then that that was what was going to spur me into becoming a realtor, but it did. It was a horrible experience. I almost lost my home after purchasing it because I wasn't educated about the process and I didn't know what to expect, what was coming. And I just said to myself, I didn't want that to happen to anybody else. And that began my story and my journey. Outside from loving to decorate, loving to see different architecture, things like that. I love artistic things. And for me, a home is the biggest expression of who you are. And I love being a part of that process with people helping to buy a home. So that's
awesome.
A little bit about me.
So out of 8,
yes.
You're the youngest.
I am the youngest girl out of 8, yes.
Wow. So how many boys, how many girls?
4 girls and 4 boys. 4 girls and 4 boys. In my home, though, I was raised with my 3 other siblings. At times, other of my siblings came to stay with us at that process as well, while we were growing up. But yeah, I'm the youngest of 8.
I'm the youngest of 3.
Really?
And I was telling my friends, she was complaining about her daughters not cleaning up and not doing anything. And she was like, you know, when I was growing up, I had to do this. And I couldn't agree because I was the youngest and it was
all done for you?
It was all done. Oh. Did you have that?
No. My parents were very structured. It was almost like when I got to be an adult, I decided that I was not going to do things that my parents did to us just because. Mm-hmm. Like we had to clean on Saturday mornings, cartoons going on, all that kind of stuff. No, we got to clean banisters, and we would clean the house as if it had never been cleaned before. I don't understand why they were so, but it did create a discipline. I mean, a little bit of a obsession for me. I am the same way, but I broke out of that. Out of that, eventually I realized, you know, the world is not going to come to an end if the carpet lines aren't there with the vacuum, you know. But no, we all still had to work hard for it, you know. And then as my parents got older, I think that my siblings would attest, they said yes a little bit more to me. Because after 8, it's like, oh, yeah, you can have it. Yes, you can do it. Yes.
So how many grandchildren does your
sit here with my fingers. So my sister and I both have 2. My brother has 2. That's 2 for 6. My other brother has. I don't even know.
Wow, that's a big family.
That's the first time I was asked that question. But out of each of us, at least have 2 to 3. My oldest brother, I think, has 4. Yeah, has 4. Yeah, there's too many to count.
So, in such a structured household, what attracted you to the arts?
I think that was the part where I still had to do stuff to get attention.
Okay.
You know, I still had to put on to get attention. It wasn't something that I said deliberately, or I'm gonna do this to get attention. I just did. I used to also get ignored being the last, so I would talk to myself in the mirrors a lot.
Jennifer Lewis said that.
Yeah.
When she was a child, I think she had a large family too, and she would put on shows so they would pay her attention.
Yeah. I remember my mom, she worked for Rikers Island. She was an administrative nurse.
Gee.
Yes.
Okay.
So she took me there one time because she saw that I had the love for the arts, because there was this new comedian hitting the scene. And no one really knew who she was, but she was going out there trying to get her name out. I think everybody knows her now, Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, wow.
But I got to meet and see Whoopi Goldberg at Rikers Island, entertain. And I just loved, like, she did these one-woman monologues and just took you through a whole story. And that also kind of made me say, wow, I can make anything out of life. Like, I can make any story happen out of life. And that's also a part of how I live my life right now. Some people will say your circumstances dictate who you are, but we have that power to make our circumstances whatever we want it to be. So I script my life a lot based off of the Word of God. But back to what we were talking about, because we can get to that later. Getting the attention from my family, getting the attention from everybody started me into wanting to act. I would talk in the mirror, I'd put my nightgown on my head and pretend I had long hair, and I'd talk to myself and, create all these different characters. And then eventually my mom saw it. I told her what I wanted to do, and she allowed me to be able to go out and just try it. And then I found myself at Performing Arts High School. I worked off-Broadway, on-Broadway, was an aspiration for me. I hadn't made it there. Maybe I will one day, who knows? But I just loved doing it.
Do you still do any acting currently?
Not at the moment, but it is a passion of mine that I'm trying to figure out how I can get back to. So I started writing again.
Okay.
And we'll see. We'll see what God has for me.
So you are currently a realtor?
Yes.
Okay, how long have you been a realtor?
I have been in the profession since 2014 with my license.
Okay.
And so I say that because at one point in time you did not have to have your license to do real estate. And of course, if you're investing, which is how I started, buying and flipping properties, you don't have to have your license to do that. And I worked with an agent when I was in New York. I had my license as well. That was back in like 99 or something like that. I had my license in New York, but then I left New York, didn't renew my license. It didn't work for a good while. Buying and selling homes since 2014, but I've been in real estate since 2007 here in Georgia.
Okay, so from acting to real estate, how do you use that?
Well, that is a good question. I think what I find myself being able to do with acting is to really bring things to life, and it's not just, this is a kitchen, this is a living room, this is a dining room. When I take my clients out, it's a show. I'm showing them their home. Unlike this property, which I actually have under contract. Yes. Unlike this property that's staged, it has the minimal things. There's no pictures, there's nothing that will say another family is here. Someone could easily see themselves in a property like this. But other properties aren't that way. So when I am showing properties to my client, all the world's a stage. And, I try to help them vision what they can see and how they can see themselves in the property. So I bring things to life that way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And also, if you follow her on Instagram or Facebook, you can see that she's really gotten into her health.
Yes.
Weight training,
eating more healthy. I am living a pescatarian life.
What is that?
I eat fish, vegetables, no meat. Yeah, so that started about, I would say, a year and a half ago, and progressively got better and better. My daughter was not very appreciative of it because
Her daughter is an actress too, by the way.
I have a son. A lot of people don't realize or remember that I have a son. He's 27. He also wanted to follow acting.
Okay.
Well. He's a journalist in
Oh,
New
wow.
York. And God is so good. His life has come to a full circle where he started out just doing journalism, but now he is editing and writing and putting together shows. So he's getting to use acting and his craft of writing. He is an amazing writer.
Awesome. All
together. So I'm really happy and proud of him for that.
We might have to interview him. What is his name?
It would be Aaron Matthew Edwards.
Okay, look for Aaron Matthew Edwards interview coming soon.
Yeah, he'll actually be here in Georgia February 11th.
Okay.
The company that he works for, Pop-Up Magazine, their shows basically pop up in cities.
Oh, okay.
They're satires of works that, things that are going on in the world, then they make it into like a satire type of performance.
And pop up.
Pop up wherever. Yeah.
So with changing your health, how has that impact your professional life?
It's discipline. It's discipline. I have been on a weight loss journey roller coaster all my life. When I look back, I realize, you know what, she wasn't that bad. But in my head, I thought I was something else.
That I don't understand it. Like I look back at pictures when I was losing weight and was smaller, and I'm like, look at how small I was. But the whole time I was in that place, I thought I was huge and nothing was working.
Right.
And
emotionally, it was very hard going through my divorce at the time, because I had also lost my grandmother 11 days later at her wake. Well, by the time we got home from her wake, my mom called to say that my dad passed away.
wow.
And 3 or 4 months after dealing with my dad's loss, my husband left me because I wasn't present. I was grieving. Not to get all into that story, but it was another place that I allowed my emotions to take over, and I wasn't doing all that I could do, but I was eating all that I could do. And I gained over 80 pounds and didn't even see it happening until I looked in the mirror. I was like, who is that girl? You know, my brother actually told me, he saw a picture of me that I posted on my page, and he was like, who's that? And I was like, that's me. He was like, where? And he was in the picture with me. You know, so it's like, you don't even realize it, who you become. And so my journey began saying, I am not going to let my emotions, circumstances, situations dictate how I take care of myself. And taking care of yourself is not just physically, it's emotionally and spiritually. So it doesn't matter what the outside is going through. I'm going to remember what God said about my life and what he said I need to do with my life, and I'm going to do it. And that discipline of getting up at 5:45 every single morning and going to work out and taking that time, that discipline of saying, I am not going to put that in my mouth. I am not going to eat that. I don't need to eat that to feel better. I'm going to do something else. I said it was going to be a lifestyle and not just I'm going to lose the weight and
go to the beach and then come back and
start all over again. No, it's going to be a process that keeps going and keeps elevating.
Okay, and I ask everyone this question. As entrepreneurs and as humans, I believe we have the same power that God used, because he's within us, to create the world. He spoke, and we have the same power and dominion within us to create our own world. We have seen countless entrepreneurs. We bought into their visions, and I mentioned Walt Disney, Sam Walton, Walmart's. We can't live without them. So yeah. So as a visionary, what does your world look like?
Oh, wow. Peace. You know, I left a corporate job just about to touch maybe 6 figures. And that wasn't enough for me. It wasn't that the money wasn't enough, but what I was doing wasn't enough for me. I wasn't living on purpose. I was going in, making money, doing what they said they wanted me to do, and I was coming home and doing it again. I have peace in my life now.
Mm-hmm.
I will be making 6 figures. I am making 6 figures.
Yes.
Speak it, right? So that I can satisfy what my life needs and what other people's lives need. Being an entrepreneur for me and doing what I love doing gives me peace. I'm not stressed. I'm not worried. I'm not overwhelmed. But I hustle.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely hustle. I have to. But I rely on God to make the needs and put it all together. You know, I show up, and He makes it all happen.
So you spoke about you were a young homeowner at 25,
Yes.
and so that pain of somewhat ignorance as being a young homeowner created you the passion, so it wouldn't be other people that was in your position.
Well, you know, I didn't realize, like I said, I didn't realize it at the time that it was going to drive my passion into real estate. A lot of little things made me love real estate. But for the lack of knowledge, my people perish.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I would read certain scriptures and certain things, I would try to tie it into my life and remember what I felt. And it's not enough just to close on the house and give somebody the keys. You know, you need to educate them. They need to know. And I didn't, because I was young, I didn't know what I didn't know. And so as a realtor, I said, I am not gonna be that realtor that doesn't educate their client, that doesn't give them the tools to keep their home, thrive, buy more properties, do whatever it is that they want to do, because I had gone through that. Now, had I had a great experience the first time buying, who knows what my story would have been. But I went through that so that no one else has to. And that's important. Like, everything that we go through shapes who we are. And it's not just one thing that got me to being a realtor. You know, I loved watching Home and Garden.
My daughter, Abigail, she likes to watch the Home Channel, just see them turn it around and do things like that. So what is the current state of the housing market right now, and the importance of our money and credit when we're buying a home?
So the importance of your money and your credit is important whether you want to buy a house or not. Just, you know, first of all, some people say, oh, I don't need credit. Yes, you do. You do need credit for anything and everything in this world. Unfortunately, this is how it's set up. But it is extremely important, and it's a process. I take my clients through the process, knowing how to prepare for a home buying. The market is what we make it. Honestly, if I said to someone that was in a $7 million house, I got a client that wants to buy it for $8, I think they'd sell it. Why not? You know, the market is what we make it. What's important to realize is that there is a house out there for everyone. And if you're looking for it at the time that you're looking for it and you work with me, you will find it.
Yeah.
Currently, you know, in the realtors will say, oh, there's not a lot of inventory. I seem to find something for all of my clients. And normally after 3 times of going out, my client in this house will say the same thing. I think this is our 3rd time going out, because I listen to my clients. I don't just show them everything that's out there, you know. And if you're in Georgia, you know that there's only 5 floor plans anyway. They just get bigger or smaller. So it's a matter of finding the right neighborhood, the right finishes, and the home that, you know, makes that person feel warm. And when you connect with your client, you can help them find what is in the market and what's available for them.
So you said you came in at 2014. So you wasn't impacted by the crashing of the housing market?
With my investment properties, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, with my investment properties, I was. And at the time, I was then in my 2nd home. And it impacted me with my 2nd home a little bit. I sold it before. I saw what was coming. Again, like I said, I didn't have my license back in 2007, but I was still doing real estate and practicing real estate, flipping properties, and of course purchasing for myself and, you know, helping others find things. But I saw what was coming, and I got out of what I was owning at the time, so that I wouldn't be upside down and could make some money on that sale. But at that time, I didn't have the knowledge of what could I do with the investment properties instead of getting rid of them because of what was going on. So now, as things can tend to be cyclical, I know how to educate my clients with investments on what to do. And of course, we've got so many different things out there now. I wish I thought of Airbnb.
Right.
You know, because I wouldn't have sold. I would have, you know, I would have done that. You know, had that been, you know, an idea back then.
So, if you were a meme, what is the quote that pushes you forward?
Okay. Don't sweat the small stuff. And with God, it's all small stuff. It helps me be calm and easy about things. And when I see myself starting to sweat the small stuff, I'm like, this is nothing. It's nothing. God's got that.
Yeah.
You just misbehaving. And I just put it aside. So don't sweat the small stuff, and with God, it's all small stuff.
Well, I really enjoyed speaking with you, and I know the information that you provided with us and your story will help someone. How can we get in contact with you for a realtor?
Okay, so my number, 678-631-8573. You could also find me on Instagram. Well, let's start with Facebook, because Facebook says Yvette Simone. That's A-Y, V as in Victor, E-T-T-E, Simone. LinkedIn says Simone Edwards, and Instagram says just Simone. So I go by Yvette Simone. Most people call me Simone. But yeah, so those are the 3 places that you can find me and connect with me.
Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Ashley.